USG moves to end window art ban.
Students honor those lost on September 11.
And the Buckeyes look to bounce back this Saturday against Army. That's all right here on Lantern News Now. Welcome back, Buckeyes. I'm Elizabeth Suarez.
And I'm Jamila Muhammad. You're watching Lantern News Now.
USG passed a resolution last week in support of reversing the ban on window art in residence halls. Students are currently unable to hang anything in their windows, but in light of the resolution, USG officials are hoping to change that. In order to move forward with the reversal, USG is expected to meet with the Office of Student Life to define what qualifies as hate speech. The meeting does not guarantee a change in the policy, but some senators feel this is a step in the right direction.
So for GA, what we did is we brought the resolution in and we passed it. It passed with, I believe, 25 to 75% transparency in the windows. So you're allowed to have the window art as long as 75% is covered and then 25% is open. And then we also decided that we would outlaw like hate speech and stuff like that. So in there we have to meet with the director of residence life. So we're going to meet with her and she's going to help us kind of define like what hate speech is, so we can take that to Tony Greenslade-Smith, who is their director of housing, and we'll go from there.
I don't live on campus now, but I lived on campus for the first 3 years of being here. And I feel that, being able to express ourselves through different ways, including, our window art, it's a way to create community and, create an environment on campus where, people feel like they belong, people feel like, they want to be here.
We will continue to keep you updated on this story.
Monday marked the 16th anniversary of the 9/11 tragedy. In remembrance of those who lost their lives that day, the student organization Young Americans for Freedom honored their memory with a field of flags on the South Oval.
Well, each flag behind us represents one American who lost their lives on the terrorist attack 16 years ago. And so it's just a way for us to honor them. And it's not a political event, it's an American event.
Today, to me, when it happened, I was young. I was about 2 years old, so I don't really remember much. But to me, it's a terrible tragedy that happened to our country. But afterwards, it kind of made our country a little bit stronger and band together a little bit more. So I think that's really important.
On Friday, North Korea launched a ballistic missile over Japan. This comes after 6 nuclear tests and less than a week after the United Nations Security Council passed new sanctions on the communist country. With the nuclear tests making international headlines, the Alexander Hamilton Society at Ohio State hosted a discussion on the issue featuring 2 national defense experts. Lantern TV reporter Joe Matz was there and brings us more.
The Alexander Hamilton Society is a student group here at Ohio State. The goal is to have constructive debates on foreign policy, national security, and economic issues. We have 2 main functions. We have high-profile events like the one here on nuclear North Korea, America's Options, where we bring in speakers from Washington and from the Ohio State community to have panel discussions or debates.
We discuss a lot of different options. I think that kind of where we are right now is the recognition that strategic patience has failed, right? Merely sort of hoping for the best, either in terms of regime collapse or delays in their capabilities, that's no longer a viable option. So I think what you're going to see on both the part of the United States and in cooperation with our allies, South Korea and Japan, is an increased emphasis on strike capabilities, our sort of conventional offensive forces, but also on our defensive capabilities.
This week marks the beginning of Latino Heritage Month. With the Trump administration's recent repeal of DACA, the Multicultural Center hosted a 3-day Love Notes for Dreamers event. This allows students to write letters of support for DACA students here at Ohio State.
I'm an instructor in English, and I am therefore very invested in the students on this campus. I'm invested really in anybody on this campus and their success. I know it takes a lot to come here, and I think that we have stated values here at the university of openness, diversity, and access, and that means understanding and respecting a lot of people's different paths to coming here. And when that path becomes complicated, it doesn't mean we shut the door on people.
So it's just really important that all students on campus know that they have support from every office and department and from fellow Buckeyes on campus. I just want to make sure that they know that we're supporting them and that we love them and that we're here for them, and that if they need any help or services or if they have questions, that they know that they can come to the Office of Diversity and Inclusion to find that support and those answers.
The notes will be on display in the Ohio Union for the rest of the month.
So are you going to watch the game this weekend?
I am, but this week is a little bit tough because my dad was in the Army, but you know, I'm a Buckeye at heart, so I think I'm going to follow my heart and root for those Buckeyes. How about you?
I feel the same way. At the end of the day, we are both Buckeyes. Now let's throw it over to James and Alicia to get you caught up on what's been happening in Buckeye sports this week.
Thanks, guys. The Ohio State men's soccer team took on Penn State on Tuesday. Lantern TV's Leo Andrade was there for more.
The Ohio State Buckeyes hosted the Nittany Lions of Penn State on September 12th at the Jesse Owens Memorial Stadium. The Buckeyes were in control most of the game. The home team was also responsible for the best chances created in the first half that ended with no scores. Junior midfielder Abdi Mohammed had 3 great shots in the first half, 2 of which came from free kicks. But it was senior defender Niall Logue that turned a free kick into a goal with a powerful shot that went under the wall and into Penn State's bottom left corner. The Buckeyes added to their score when senior forward Nate Cole took possession of the ball on Penn State's side of the field and took it himself into the box and into the goal. The Nittany Lions also had a chance to score in a free kick, but it was freshman midfielder Mitch Bergman who finished off Ohio State's 4th consecutive shutout. With the win, the Buckeyes improved to 5-1-0, while Penn State falls to 1-2-2. With Lantern TV, I'm Leo Andrade.
The Ohio State football team released their Big Ten football schedule for the next 4 seasons. Unlike this year, the Buckeyes will only play games on Saturdays through the 2027 season. Of note, the Buckeyes are set to open up the 2021 season on the road again in a Big Ten matchup with Minnesota. Ohio State will only play Wisconsin once during the regular season through 2021, which will be on October 26 in 2019.
Just 1 year after leading the Ohio State men's lacrosse team to a national championship appearance, head coach Nick Meyer signed a 5-year contract extension. The details of the contract have not yet been released, but this will be his 10th season as head coach. During his tenure as head coach, the team has made the NCAA quarterfinals 3 times, with 1 Final Four and national championship appearance.
Heads up, Buckeyes! Next week is packed with Buckeye sports. Of course, tomorrow the Ohio State football team will look to beat Army at 4:30 p.m. in the Shoe. Women's soccer will face off against Northwestern at 1 p.m. on Sunday. On Monday, the men's tennis team will play host to the all-day Columbus Challenger. Then on Wednesday, the Maryland Terrapins will be traveling to Columbus to take on the women's volleyball team at 7 p.m.
That's all we have for you this week on Lantern News Now.
Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Also, check out the Lantern on Snapchat for game day coverage.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.